Okay. You guys are so much rare. Oh, thanks. Hanging out here in this fancy office building on summers. So cool.
Ladies, this is Dr. Franklin. She is my obstetrician to deliver the best baby in the whole world. She's a genius.
Is anybody 18 yet?
My baby is.
We have one 18-year-old. 18? She's a grown woman. She's just very much young.
Can you all scoot around just a hair, Janaya? Okay, there we go. All right. So she's just gonna.
Yeah, just going to talk a bit. I know it's pretty informal, and it's good to hear people's stories and see what they've gone through and what challenges they've had. And I am Dr. Tanya Franklin. I am from Lexington, Kentucky. That's my home. Went to high school there, and then once I left high school and graduated, I moved to Louisville, and I went to Bellarmine College. And so I've been here in Louisville ever since high school, ever since I graduated high school. Lexington Catholic. So I went to Catholic school, and I can tell you that from the very, very, very earliest memories that I've had, when I was maybe 4 or 5, I always wanted to be a doctor. There was not anything else I ever wanted to do, and I think that's pretty rare. I think it's pretty rare to know, like, from a little child, and know what you want to do with your life, know your purpose, and really feel like that's where you belong, and that's where you're going to make the best impact, and the impact that's going to make you feel good about yourself too. And I think a lot of that came from, you know, when you're young and you're smart, you say, oh, you're so smart, you're going to be a doctor, you know. I don't know if it came from that, and just like people just kept saying it, and you know, I just believed it to be true. But I always enjoyed being in school and going to class and pleasing people. I'm a people pleaser, and that's not always a good thing. But I always liked the reward of like being the good student and being the good person in class, and always being the helpful person to the teacher, and always doing the right thing, and always following the rules. And I really thrived on that, and I really liked that label, and I definitely appreciated it. It was probably in high school when I decided that as the doctor, I would be an OBGYN. And part of that reason is because of my experiences as a young woman, seeing stuff going on around me, young girls getting pregnant, young girls in situations of, you know, if they had some more education, if they had someone maybe in their lives that helped them, educated them about their bodies, educated them about protecting themselves, and just encouraging them to look beyond, to look further, not just what's right there in front of you, but what do you want to do with yourself? Where do you see yourself after high school? Do you even see yourself graduating high school? And if not, why not? And I just felt like that was not the statistic that I wanted to be a part of. Felt like there were so many of those examples for me that I overcompensated a lot. I worked hard, I stayed up all night, and I just felt like I knew that I was gonna have to work a lot harder than everyone else, because I didn't have any examples of anyone in my family going to college, or anyone personally in my life being a doctor. And it wasn't until I was a sophomore in college when I actually met my first African American OBGYN. So you guys had that opportunity now. Isn't that pretty cool? Just imagine, like, even as a college student, I was just like, I couldn't take my eyes off of her. I was like, wow, she's a doctor and she's black. You know, it was just amazing to me. It was like almost the like a unicorn. You know, like you just don't see those. They don't really exist, do they? Well, yes, they do exist. And for me to be able to see her and to see her work and see her with patience, and to see her being the boss in the whole situation, like she was the one calling the shots. That really kind of ironed it in for me, that's what I wanted. I wanted to go all the way. I didn't want to do this level or that level. I wanted to be a physician. I wanted to be able to make decisions, and being the one to do surgery, and being the one to be there for people's high moments and sometimes their low moments too. So high school, college, yep, that's when I met my first African American OBGYN. That's the time too when you're like trying to make sure your grades are in order, trying to keep your head above water, trying to work, trying to pay your rent, but still trying to do well in your different classes. And there were a lot of sacrifices that I made. You know, some of my friends who did business or accounting, you know, they knew once they finished college that they were going to be able to go right into the workforce. Well, I knew I had more years ahead of me, and I couldn't just like, you know, get by and get good enough grades to graduate and get a good job. I had to do well enough to get into medical school, and then I had to do well enough in that at that point to get into residency. So there were so many points in my life that depended on where I was at now and whether or not I could move forward. Do y'all know how long it takes to become a doctor? How many years? Don't answer that. Okay, so let's break it down. How about high school? You know high school's 4 years, right? How about college? How many years of college? You do 4, that's right. Some people do it in 5, just depends on what's going on, what kind of track you're doing and how many majors or minors you want. But yes, on typical it should be 4 years. How about the next step is medical school? How long is that? 4. So it is 4. So you guys are doing pretty good here, you guys. So the time is a little shorter than maybe the overall, what you thought. So no, it's 4 years of medical school. So after 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, and then you got 4 years of medical school. Do y'all know how long residency is? And does it depend on what you do?
You have to be an intern before you become a resident.
You have to be, the intern is the person in their first year out as a physician. So once you graduate from medical school and you're an MD, everyone is an intern in their first year out, no matter what field you go into. It's a good question. Because everybody thinks they're different. Like, what's the difference between an intern and a resident? They're just a first year resident. Okay? Yeah, there you go. Some of it's true. I think some of it is not true. I don't watch it personally, but
You should. It's so good.
I heard it's good.
She like, that's her life though.
I might have too many criticisms.
You
Like, that's not true.
That doesn't.
Okay, so 4 years of medical school. How about residency? Do we say it depends on what you go into? Is it all the same, you think?
5 years.
It can be 5 years. Some residencies might be like 8 years. That's like neurosurgery. That's when you're gonna do surgery on people's brains. Okay, that's really serious. You need a really long time for training. But OBGYN is 4 years. So that's 4 more years. So people would say, oh, that's a long time. So, you know, I always tell people who are thinking about, I would like to be a doctor, but that seems like so much time. It's like, you know what, you're young. What's going to happen in 12 or 16 years? What's going to happen? Life. You're going to get older. You're going to be 14 years older. You're going to be 16 years older, however long it takes you to get to that point. And guess what? Time is going to pass. And after 16 years, will you be able to say, you know what? I should have did this 16 years ago. I should have went down that path because time was going to pass anyway. Time goes. That's the only thing that we really don't have control over. Time. You are going to lose time. You got to use it to your benefit and to the best possible potential that you have. So when people say, gosh, that's so long. Well, I have a good friend who was going to do medicine. And I think after the first or second year, she changed her mind, and she's in a field that is great for her. She's in marketing and sales, and she is amazing, Miss Keisha. She's phenomenal at her job, and she's done really, really well. And she's happy, but there are people that might say, you know what, I changed my track because it was just too hard, and I wanted to, you know, I wasn't able to do the things in college and have fun with my friends like I wanted to. And now I regret it because time has passed. My friend that was along the path with me kept going and is a doctor now, and here I am. I wish I had continued on because that time passed anyway, whether you were going to use it to your benefit or not. So along the way, you are not always like a poor student. So when you become a resident, it is a job, so you do get some money. That's like, that was a game changer because you're like, oh, I'm not like in the negative all the time. I'm not always broke asking my parents for money or asking somebody else for money. So when you become a resident after you graduate from medical school, you do get paid a little bit, and that does help. Do y'all know why they call residents residents? These are the, go ahead. You got it.
My husband used to stay in the hospital.
They used to live in the hospital. That's how bad, that's how hard we worked. We do get to go home though now. We don't have to be held captive in the hospital. But when I started residency, they put a new restriction on work hours. Do you all know how much time is a typical full-time job? How many hours you work a week? No. How many hours you work a whole week? So it might be like 8 hours a day. So a total.
Like,
I hear the number coming out.
I was between two. I'm between like 48.
There you go. 40 hours is kind of average. Did you say 40? I didn't hear you. I'm so sorry. I thought you said 4. Right. So 40 hours a week. Yes, correct. 40 hours a week. Do you know when I graduated from medical school and joined residency, they just passed a restriction and said residents could not work more than 80 hours a week.
Whoa.
Before that, they were working 100 hours a week or more. And so that's like working 2 full-time jobs. Isn't that crazy to put it in perspective like that? Like as a physician and a medical student, like you're going in and you know that's the life. But when they break it down to say, you're restricted to working two full-time jobs because we used to work you harder than that, and it's absurd. So 80 hours a week. And if we go over that, our program can get in trouble. So there are some programs where they might encourage you to lie so that they don't get in trouble. But our program was really good and protected us. So out of all the things that I've said, high school, college, medical school, residency, do you know in my life what was the hardest thing that I ever did? The hardest thing. I didn't even mention it, but take a guess. Will you stop trying to answer all the questions? My daughter, because she knows all the answers. She knows. Yes. That's why I brought them. Because you can have it all. You can do it all. You can be a parent. You can be a good partner or a good wife. You can have a life outside of your goals that you want. But you have to find that balance. So remember I was telling you all about how we had the restrictions of 80 hours a week. You know how exhausting that is. Can you imagine? But like, you know, you're just like, you could be sitting there talking to someone maybe in a lecture and your eyes just kind of, you can't even keep your eyes open sometimes. Now, I felt like, what were you saying?
So that's crazy.
It is.
We work
It's intense.
30. We work 30 hours and I'm already tired.
I just feel like
But you gotta keep it in perspective because at you all's age, people your age aren't working 30 hours a week. So you guys are pushing yourselves to, you know, some really tough marks here at your age in your age group. So that's pretty impressive. You gotta, you know, kind of take it where you are. You're not a resident. We don't expect you to work 80 hours plus, but working 30 hours at your age in the summertime, that's true. That is a lot. That is. So being a parent, I felt like I have never ever worked so hard in my life, never been so delirious from exhaustion before. And I felt like all the hard work that I did of residency, medical school did not touch what is required to for you to be a parent and a good parent. You know, anybody can be a parent, I guess. Or you can be good. You know, are you going to be up in the middle of the night? Are you going to wake up every 2 to 3 hours when that baby has to eat? And so that's why, I bring this up because a lot of people are pretty short-sighted in, you know, kind of starting that process first. And, you know, it seems like it might be pretty easy because anybody can do it, right? Anybody can get pregnant and have a baby. But there is a lot of responsibility with that. And it is harder than you actually accomplishing your goals and your dreams that you have for your life. It's actually easier to work hard and stay up late and study and get the right job and finish college and have good relationships with people that can get you into different doors than it is to be a parent. So you should try to tackle the easiest goals first, before you try to tackle the hard ones. With college, I can tell you, since we're talking about challenges, since I was a little girl, I told you all that I knew what I wanted to do, right? I knew I wanted to be a doctor. I really didn't have any question on whether I wanted to do this or not. And that was consistent my entire life. When I took a step back and said, maybe I should be open, maybe I should do this, maybe I should look into sales, maybe I should look into marketing, accounting, that was never very interesting to me. Because I just felt like I was a real people person. I was going to make my impact by engaging with people, educating them about their bodies, about how they can live healthier, how they can be healthier. And I knew that that was going to have a bigger impact. If I have one patient and I talk with them about their diet, their blood pressure, their pregnancy, that is going to spill over into their loved ones too. And I knew that that impact was going to be much greater than just my one patient in each room that I see on a daily basis. I would say the hardest, I guess the challenges that I faced along the entire way was uncertainty in my ability to do it. Was I smart enough? Am I tough enough? Am I persistent enough? Am I detailed enough? Because when it comes to stuff like this, you have to be pretty detailed when you're taking care of patients. Did I have it in me to be the kind of person that needed to be, accepted into medical school and get into a good residency spot? Did I have what it takes? And so that was the majority of the challenges that I faced. Not that I didn't want to do it, or maybe I changed my mind and maybe I want to do something different. No, that never ever changed for me. The challenge was just being unsure of myself and having not enough confidence. And I believe that just comes with time. My whole life I feel like I overcompensated a lot. Like I had to work harder. I had to stay up late and work more hours than other people, and I had to study harder than everyone else. And I just felt like that was my way of overcompensating. I never wanted to feel like I didn't study enough or didn't know the question because I took an hour to go hang out with my friends. Like I just knew that I had to do more and overcompensate, and as far as that's concerned. Part of the reason too is because of not having enough examples in front of me to show me how it's done. So I had to figure it out on my own. And when I think about, my parents had really good intentions. They instilled in me that, you gotta work hard, you gotta get educated, but they couldn't help me with my homework. They didn't go to college. They couldn't help me with my homework. They couldn't help me fill out my financial aid forms. I had to do all that myself. Picking colleges to go to visit, I picked all those myself, and basically asked my dad to take me, and please stop.
I'm listening to the conversation.
Aww.
You're still my mom.
I know, she's making me emotional just looking at me talk about this stuff, because she's gonna have a different experience than I will, but being able to have people in your life that can help you and guide you and advise you and just say, hey, this is how it's done. Follow this path, follow this formula. I had no one there really to tell me that, at least not within my family. And that's why it was very important for me that every opportunity I got like this, like you all have, every opportunity I got to meet people that I know I can call up and say, what do I do? This happened in class, this grade is not going well, should I go talk to this professor? Who do you know at the School of Public Health that maybe I can go and shadow, or a doctor that that I can shadow? these kinds of situations, I always try to put myself in. Whenever there was a summer program or some kind of research opportunity, I always sought it out because I knew that I did not have someone in my family that can get me through the front door. Or I did not have a family friend who was a physician or OBGYN that could let me shadow them. There are a lot of people that do have those opportunities in their lives, and they're very, very fortunate and lucky, but I did not have that opportunity. So overcompensating, I think in so many ways, helped me get to where I am now. And there is this very interesting, I think we talked about this before, one of my professors in residency, I guess he could tell that I was a little uncertain about certain things, and he told me, you gotta fake it until you make it. And when he said that, he didn't have to explain it to me. He didn't have to tell me, like, this is what I mean. Like, I understood what he meant. And it is so true whenever you go for a job interview or when you go for your interviews for college or a scholarship for college that you're gonna go to. You have to exude confidence. You have to show confidence, because if you don't show confidence, even if you don't feel it inside, you have to show it on the outside. No one's gonna believe it. They're gonna say, well, she might come in here and she may not do well because she just seems real timid and doesn't seem like, she's a go-getter. Even if you don't feel like you're a go-getter, just exude that. Show it, be it, and eventually you will be it. And I feel like I'm a testament to that. Like, maybe I didn't feel confident, but I always got out there and just like had a smile on my face. I wanted to work hard, and people really like that. Whether you have all the answers to questions they might ask you, or you may not, get 100% on your test, but you're a hard worker, and when people see that, they really gravitate towards you, and they want to help you. If you're uninterested, if you are, just kind of like not doing well on your tests, and you really have the attitude that you don't care, people are not going to go out of their way to help you. So with that, instead of me going on and on, I would love some questions or some stories of your own, or maybe even go around the room and talk about what you guys want to do with your lives. So let's start out by doing that first, because I am really interested in you guys and where you go to school and what you want to do, what you want to be when you grow up. Can we start with you?
Yeah. I go to Central.
Cool.
And I want to do law enforcement.
Awesome. Law enforcement Central. So what magnet are you in? Don't you all have so they do have one for you? Good, awesome. So you take classes in that area. Cool. And you're enjoying it? That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna get better.
Well,
I believe it's gonna.
Yes, and let me tell you, to go to medical school, at my college, I didn't have a lot of choices on what sciences to major in, so I majored in biology. I did not like all my biology classes. Actually, some of them I hated. And I was like, maybe I'm not meant to be a doctor if I don't like cellular biology. And that is not the case. Let me tell you. You may not enjoy every single class, but if you know that's what you want to do, and maybe you get the opportunity to shadow someone in that field, and you know that is where you see your life, there are certain hurdles you just have to jump over, period. And it sometimes is a way to weed out the people who aren't tough enough, or the people who don't have the perseverance for it. So that is a good, important lesson. Even as a biology major going to medical school, I had to do calculus. I'm like, why would I do calculus? I hate calculus. And chemistry. Chemistry was so hard. And I felt like, oh my gosh, if this is what being a doctor is like, I don't know if I'm going to be a good doctor. But that is not what being a doctor is about. And I really felt like it was, classes at the highest level in the major that I needed to be able to get prerequisites to apply to medical school. But I knew that they were hurdles that I just had to suck it up, and I had to do it. So hang in there. All right. All right, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mia. I go to Frank Creek.
Okay.
And I really like languages and studying them.
I like different cultures. So hopefully I can, like, my goal is by the time I graduate college, within 2 years, so about, I'll be about 24. So by the time I'm 24, I want to be bilingual, and then I want to be sufficient in a different language, so 2.5 languages.
Okay.
So I want to be able to like travel the world and be a translator, so I can basically be a tourist and make money off of it.
That's a great goal. What a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Girl, come through. I'll teach you Spanish. Everyone. The Empower Brigade in Spain.
So what languages do you want to speak or focus on, at least primarily?
Well,
To start.
because Spanish is the only language offered in Fern Creek, I mean, Spanish is cool either way, but I wanna, become fluent in Spanish, and then Italian is sort of similar to Spanish, so I wanna branch off into the Romance languages, and then if I can conquer that, then I guess I'll start to like pick them up faster, because once you get down like people who are raised bilingual, they can pick up languages really fast.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can train my brain to think like that. Hopefully it'll be easier to pick up other words.
Do you are you using any kind of programs now on your own?
No, I mean I have different accounts, but they don't really like work that well. So basically what I do is I watch a lot of like Spanish TV.
Good.
I watch a lot of Spanish
That
TV.
is the way.
I'm trying to listen to more Spanish and Caribbean music.
Okay, cool. I love it.
And I took a trip to the Dominican Republic a few weeks ago, so I really liked it.
Really? So it's kind of like immersion. Did you speak?
Did I speak? Okay, yes, I did speak some, but the only thing is everyone across the board will like say who speaks Spanish, Dominican Spanish. It's so different because we're taught standard, proper Spain Spanish.
Yeah.
But we're also like we're used to hearing like Mexican Spanish or some Cuban Spanish, at least for like in my school. But the Dominican dialect is so interesting because they like drop the S's in the end of the word in like the end of the word. So instead of como estás, it'll be like como está.
Yeah.
And so it'll be like things like that. They'll just drop off the end of the word. So you kind of have to adjust and like read the room, like what could they be saying?
That's cool. That's also interesting. We use Duolingo. Have you? Do you Tell me about it.
Everyone knows I hate that app. Everyone knows.
It's a horrible app. Like
And
they show you the pictures.
Speaking of Ladation, I saw the notification on your phone. Why do you have it? It does not help. I promise you, it does not help. I am in the making of forming my own app. Look out for it. Carpe Dias coming through 2027, hopefully. Didn't you hear Miss Dr. Johnson? She was like, it takes like 10 years to form a business. So catch me in 2028. Actually, I'm sorry. 2027 was too idealistic. But Carpe Dias, look for the colors yellow and black. We're our first customers right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm guilty. But I took custom.
Yeah. It's like a final.
You didn't pass Spanish?
No, I did. I'm like, I can't use this. I'm not gonna pass. Like, this is so
It's not very. It teaches. Okay, there's only like Apple. Okay, I get it. Can we get something else? Like, it doesn't tell you anything about sentence structure. It doesn't tell you anything about slang. It doesn't let you listen to native speakers. I'm gonna rant. No.
To get to the point you're saying, so I had to do 40 lessons to understand the
I'm
verbs.
talking about that still.
All right, we're gonna move on, guys.
Alright, my name is Ladesha. I go to Central High School.
Cool.
I want to be a computer programmer.
Awesome.
Well, something to do with technology.
Awesome. And why are you really interested in technology? What got you interested in technology?
My older cousin, like, I would just remember when I was younger, he would like take apart stuff. Just all of that. I was like,
That's cool. And so what is your, what's it called? Is it a focus or a group? Yeah. At Central? Yes,
Technology.
sorry. It's what?
Technology.
Technology. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of opportunities in technology. As you can see, we all are like enamored with technology, and it breaks down all the time. And we are so ignorant, and so we always need help calling somebody to come and fix our stuff. So that's pretty cool. All right.
I go to fifth grade. I'm not really sure what exactly I want to do, but I'll probably just stay in music.
Okay. So what do you do in music?
Oh, I play the trumpet.
Oh, that's fantastic. Are you in a band?
Yes.
The school band? Awesome.
I've been a band since fifth grade.
How long have you been playing?
Since fifth grade.
Okay, all right. Awesome.
Okay, so I go to, I'm a freshman in college now. I'm going to Manhattan School of Music, and I'm going for musical theater. I want to be a professional actress, and musical theater is composed of singing, acting, and dancing. So I want to go into that professionally, but I also want to develop my visual arts and be able to make a business out of that as well.
That's awesome. So how are you, in the arts, how are people marketing themselves?
Well, basically,
Because there's lots of people who are doing some things, so
yeah.
and everybody can't be in a gallery. So what are people doing to get their stuff out there?
Basically, it's about networking. It's like about the people who know you and who you know, but mostly who know you. It's because once you get your brand, because you are your own brand, once you get that out there, more people will be exposed to it, and you'll have more chances of being higher, like more seen by people.
Yeah, exactly. And you are in Manhattan?
Yes.
How is that going?
Well, I'm going in the fall.
You're starting?
Yes.
Oh, you're gonna be starting?
Yes.
How are you feeling?
I'm excited.
That's great. Do you have a place?
Yes, I'm staying on campus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, good. Awesome. I would think that with the arts, especially with visual arts, there's a lot of online stuff that you are like making yourself visible online, maybe doing even like a YouTube channel or something, or I mean, I'm not hip on that kind of stuff, but I hear my daughter talk about YouTubers.
Yeah,
that's
that
a
is such.
Yeah. But I was telling my daughter, because she said, I want to YouTube, I want to be a YouTuber. And I'm like, you got to have a talent. You can't just be on there being a YouTuber like some people.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Some people. Not her, is what I'm saying. Right? You will not be on there just putting on lipstick,
It's
showing
amazing.
doing
Amazing
selfies.
personality.
Like you could be on there showing art, singing, whatever your talent is to get yourself out there. But I can imagine that's probably, you just have to make yourself visible online so people not just in your vicinity will see you, but people all over the world are going to have access to you.
Right. Yep.
All right.
Hi, I'm Ashanti, guys. I go to DuPont Manual County School.
Okay.
And I'm in the Y-Pass program.
Great.
Right now. I'm a vocal major.
Wow.
Yes. And when I go to college, I think I want to study like psychology as a major and then minor in like vocal music.
Okay.
Music, yeah.
That's amazing. So why psychology? What draws you to that?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. But like I like the way people I like to analyze the way people think,
Yeah.
So it's like, why do you think that way compared to like me? So I think I'll be interested in it. I'm gonna take the class at school first to make sure I wanna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
My name is Alicia. There's just like 15 million different things that I want to do, but I guess let me start with, I'm gonna be a freshman in August at UK. So if you have any Lexington tips, let me know.
Don't go. No, I'm kidding. Remember, that is my home that I left years ago. But the campus, I know, is phenomenal. You'll have a great time. Campus life is awesome.
So, I'm interested in, so photography.
Okay.
Math. I used to be interested in psychology, but then I decided that, I don't feel like I would be like 100% happy all the time. So, anyways, so like photography, like singing, like poetry, writing, rapping, like just all those things, like, yeah, I'm interested.
So what are you gonna declare as a major, or are you undecided at this point?
My major is called Writing, Rhetoric, and Digital Studies, and it's a new major, and I think it's gonna give me like a really good platform for pretty much almost anything that I want to do.
Sure.
And then I'm definitely gonna like work in some public relations back there because I like to organize things and like things like that.
That's pretty cool. It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh yeah, I have orientation Wednesday and Thursday.
Yay.
I'm super excited to be here.
Oh my gosh. All right,
Okay, my name is Victoria. I go to Frank Creek High School, and this fall I'm going to be a senior,
okay.
finally. I'm just going to take you through my plan that I have,
Yeah.
like 10-year plan.
Got a 10-year plan as a
Yeah.
start.
Okay, so I want to major in biochemistry and minor in philosophy in undergrad, and then I want to get a dual degree. I want to get a PharmD and a PhD so that I can do pharmacy and do pharmaceutical science research.
Great.
I need some solidarity like that.
Hey, you know what Victoria does in her free time, you know, like in breaks? When we're not doing anything, we could be on our phones, we could be talking to anyone, we could be like talking to our baes. You know what she's doing? She is doing her monthly budget, and I love her so much.
Yeah, I saw that.
She has her spreadsheet open, and she's like, miscellaneous, groceries, clothes, makeup.
Oh my
She's
God.
so you're better than us. We all look up to you.
That is so great. There are people like that all over the place, like just like people that are constantly writing things down. Now I have this journal here that I write down different things, and I just started using it because I saw one of my residents had this book and was writing everything in. I'm like, what are they doing? And she showed me like she has dots, and then she has a check box, and then a triangle tells her what kind of tasks they are. I was like, oh man, maybe I should start organizing my life a little bit better, like my resident.
Right, I'm
So
like,
you,
here.
go with the flow. Yeah, I think I gotta get this done today. I better, put it on my list. That's pretty good. That's a good start. Good start. It's gonna serve you well to stay organized and on track. Okay.
I'm Asia. I go to Central High School and I want to be a nurse. I just don't know what part yet.
Okay, great. And you are in the magnet nursing track or medical?
The nursing program.
Okay. So nursing is a great field. Of course, as a physician, I work with nurses all the time. And the one thing about nurses when compared to physicians is that nurses do kind of general training, and then they can go off and do obstetrics and do labor delivery, help deliver babies. They can do pediatric stuff, they can do intensive care unit, they can do heart stuff. So it's like you have so much variety, and once you find that niche, you might do that for 5 years, like on labor and delivery, and decide, you know what, I'm tired of this, I want to do pediatrics now. So you have a lot of flexibility, and there is a nursing shortage, so you will always have a job for sure. There's always going to be sick people, unfortunately. But nursing is a really cool field, and what I have found is that people that are going into nursing, they continue on afterwards. They're a nurse, and then they might get their master's, and then they might become a nurse practitioner and actually do their own pap smears with patients, do their own breast exams, and kind of act as a primary care provider for some patients. And then some of them go off and get their PhDs. So there's a lot of room to grow within the nursing field. Lots of opportunity. And you? What do you want to do when you grow up? You are doing it, girl. Look at you.
That's my goal, to be a grandma. I'm pursuing a PhD in educational leadership. My concentration is evaluation. My research area is the dearth of women in computer science. So that's my research interest. I'm not really sure after I graduated if I want to work like on the foundation side or be a professor, but I love what I'm studying, and that's what I wanted to ask you, if that like because like when I think of 12 years, I'm like, oh my God. But then like people probably look at me and they're like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? But I'm like, I love it, you know? So like, did that help you? Did you always love what you were doing and that sort of drove you through? Or
I did.
are you just that hard of work?
Oh, let's see. You know what I was telling you all, there are things that you like have to take a step back and say, you know what? I'm not gonna use this. I don't think it's necessary to become a doctor, but it's a requirement and I just gotta suck it up and do it. There were times when I did feel like it was not always enjoyable, but I knew my long-term goal. I wanted to be a physician. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be an OBGYN. I wanted to do all the fun stuff that I saw myself doing. And so everything wasn't fun, but the big core pieces of my education and my career path were phenomenal. So I can tell you when I was a resident, and like I said, 80-hour work week was the maximum, okay? So even 80 hours is too much, right? 80 hours is too much. It's grueling. And then when you have kids too, you're like, I am gone all day and night for my kids. I may not be able to see them when they wake up in the morning because I'm already out of the house, and I may not be able to see them before they go to bed. That was really tough, but I always thought to myself that if I had to do that and I was miserable, I would not do it. It would not be worth it. But if I'm at work knowing I am sacrificing some really important pieces of my life and I'm smiling when I'm doing it, it's very rewarding to me. I feel like I'm doing really good in this world. It will be worth it. And I felt like I was really making an impact for many patients. There are not many African American physicians. There are not many African American OBGYNs. And I knew that people who saw me that looked like me, I was important to them. I was important to them, not just because I look like them, but sometimes that is all it takes for someone to put that guard down and feel like, okay, I think I can trust her just because she looks like me. And it could be something simple like that, and to even build relationships with people in the respect of their health care because they've never had a relationship with a physician like this before. They've never felt comfortable, they never let their guard down, they've never been able to really fully engage and take control of their own health because they go in, they think the doctor doesn't listen, they think they're not connected with them, and they don't take the recommendation and say, that doctor doesn't know what they're talking about, they don't care about me. So I knew that the work that I was doing, even though I sacrificed a lot personally, it was important to making the world a better place and improving disparities in healthcare that we know are present just because there aren't enough people that look like us in medicine. And the same thing I think just goes for any field you go in, law enforcement, the languages, all those things. There are not enough of our faces. And when we get enough of our faces in all aspects of life, then we can start demanding equality, demanding everyone be treated fairly, because we'll be the ones at the table making decisions about who gets the job, who was the best interviewer that day, not who did they connect with because they looked like them or they had something in common, like they're like for a certain type of music that we might not listen to, or they play golf at the country club when we may not have a membership at the country club. You know, they didn't let us in the country club years ago. So, you know, until we start penetrating those areas and start getting into all aspects of life, can we really truly start to see change in every aspect of our lives. And that's so important. You know, my job is not to come here and be like, I want all y'all to be doctors. That is not what I want. I want everybody, you all are all so different. You all want to do so many different things, and to see you guys with your energy and your interest and your already clear thoughts about what you want to do with yourselves, we need you guys to go and spread out, not to concentrate, to spread out and to start penetrating those pockets where there is no one that looks like us. All right, what other questions do we have?
I have one.
Yeah.
Okay, so how hard was it to have a job in undergrad school?
So that's interesting because even though, you know, I had to maintain a certain GPA and my success in college, you know, really impacted my ability to get into medical school. It's really, really important. But I couldn't be homeless, right? And I had to finish school. So there were times when I had 2 or 3 different jobs, at a time. And the good thing about college, you guys don't realize this, that you're not in class like high school from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. It's like you might have an hour class, 8 to 9, and then you might have a class 10 to 12, and then that's it for that day. So you should not have any excuse not to get your homework done. It's not gonna hang out. But, you know, you might have 2 or 3 classes a day, and they're usually like an hour long. So you literally have the rest of the day and the night to maybe have a part-time job if you needed, to get your homework done if you needed, to meet up with study groups if you have to work, you know, in between classes. I had maybe some classes where I have an hour or 2 blocked in between. So I would be able to get as much done as I could. So you really have to be good about your time management. You have to use your time wisely. You have to, you know, get in where you fit in. Basically, whenever, you know, if you have to work later on that afternoon, you need to get your homework done between 9 and 12 o'clock when you have a break between your classes or something. And so organization is so important. And what I have done is, and this is something I just started. I mean, I always had like a planner where I would write, you know, homework, math, blah, blah. And you have to. You cannot keep it all up here. You know, you're gonna miss something, and it could be something really important. But you need a planner, whether it's electronic on your phone or on your tablet or a written one. But what I do, I have this other planner. I don't have it with me; it's in the car. But I can plan out like my whole week. Like I know, like Wednesday is my short day, so I know I'm done by 3, and I can get some, you know, resident evaluations in, or I can get my hair done. I mean, whatever it is you need to get done, you have got to plan this out. There are too many distractions. There's too many things pulling you in different directions, and if you manage your time right, you can work, and you can get your homework done, and you can get to class, and you can get a decent night's sleep and then start all over again the next day. But you gotta like be able to have some organization. And I think you'll be okay as far as that's concerned. You'll be able to plan your weekend okay. Yep. And if it's yes, ma'am. But the interesting thing is, as you get older, you cannot stay up as late as you can in college. Like you all may you guys may go on and on and on without much sleep for a period of time, and then like crash on the weekend and like sleep until 12 or 1 o'clock. Like I can't do that anymore. I cannot physically do that. But there were times when I would be up, drinking coffee, getting my studying done because I've got a test on Friday, you know, and I just have to fit it in where I could, and I could function off very little sleep in college and medical school as well. And I look back on it and I think, there's no way I could do that. No way I could. That, now you know that there was this young guy who drank like a 5-hour energy, then drank a big Starbucks, then drank Monsters, and he died. His heart gave out on him because he had so much caffeine and like adrenaline. So yeah, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
Our last
It's dangerous.
I'm gonna just like get really chill, and then I'm gonna like splash water over my face out of nowhere. Surprise myself.
Well, I can tell you, I became like the queen of power naps. So y'all heard of the power? I mean, that will change your life. If you lay down for maybe 20 or 40 minutes, if you lay down too long, it's over. Like you won't be able to wake up, you'll feel groggy and awful. But if you like lay down maybe 20, 30 minutes, even 40, no more than an hour, you will be energized, you'll be ready to go. And so that is probably something you may have to incorporate into your life as a college student. Power naps.
I'm just gonna take like a quick power nap right after class to get the stuff done. Next class.
Like, but yeah, you know, in college, you just can't go to every party. You know, keep in mind.
I don't think I can go to a party. I don't think I want to be able to do it. If I go,
There's no
No, if I go, then like I'm gonna not get something else done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get like I don't want to start going to the parties and then go to more. No, not doing it.
What's okay? Everything in moderation, though. Like,
Yes.
don't not go to no. I mean,
That's
don't
true.
not go to any party.
That's a
Like,
good
it's
point.
like college, you have to figure out how to manage yourself. I think.
You're right. You're right.
One
But
time
I want to
you're
be around people who are like. All those people. Really? I go to a chill party. I
That's
don't be
good.
around a bunch
Stay
of
away.
crazy people.
Rare. Dr. Franklin, what do you want the youth of today, the high schoolers of today, to know about reproductive health?
Oh, okay.
That's a good question.
Your body is not gonna.
I'm a sexual education.
Just kidding.
You've heard all this before, like she's covering her ears. We've talked about this. I would say that you have to be very aware of what is going on around you. I deal with a lot of young ladies who have no clue what is going on in the world when it comes to our bodies. And if you all do not pay attention, you all will not have control over your own body, period. I mean, that's where it's headed. You will not have access to contraception, to control your own destinies, to control your fertility, to be able to have a baby when the time is right for you, because someone else is making those decisions for us right now, and that is not okay. I think that you just have to be aware of what's going on. You got, some of y'all are 18. You are. So y'all can vote. You can vote.
Yes.
For us.
I did.
Yes, and it's so important as far as that's concerned. That's one big piece that I think people don't talk about enough, and as a physician, I don't talk about it to my patients because I'm a doctor, I'm not a politician. But it's such an important part of our ability to achieve our goals and our dreams. 98% of women have used birth control before. And so it's not just something that some people have used. Almost every woman has used it to try to space her pregnancies, to try to accomplish a goal, to not get derailed from her dreams, and to be able to be the mother that she sees herself being in the future when that time is right. So that's one thing I would say about it. Know what's going on in the world, and please be politically active and speak up against people who are trying to control our own bodies. Like, we should have our own personal integrity. We should be able to decide what is right for our bodies, not someone else. The next thing is, I would say you have to educate yourself and protect yourself. All right. Of course, contraception is very important in you being able to protect yourself, but also other things like barrier contraception, like condoms and balloons. That is going to save your life. That could save your life. Don't get caught up in a whim and like not think about the bigger picture. You guys already have very big goals and you guys want to accomplish them, right? You don't want to get derailed by something like this. That could really change your ability to be healthy and to be able to, you know, go off to college and accomplish your dreams. Do you all know what infectious disease we are #1 in the country for right now? What? It does begin with an H.
Herpes.
Nope. Nope. Hepatitis C.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We are #1 in the country. Over Mississippi.
Wait,
Over Arkansas.
Oh, you mean Kentucky?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant like.
I thought you meant like black.
We are the #1 infected state of hepatitis C in the country.
Is that sexual?
Over California, it can be.
Oh, girl.
Over California, over New York, where you think, oh, that's where that stuff happens. No, us.
I thought herpes.
It's not like she's gonna give it to
Oh
me.
my gosh, it's sexually.
Hepatitis C can be, because there are different types of hepatitis. Do y'all know the different types of hepatitis?
Isn't there like an A, B, and C?
Hepatitis A, why is that important right now? Hepatitis A.
Oh, because there was an.
Yes.
Yeah, with my friends going through.
Yeah, yes.
What'd you
That, it's in restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
people
okay.
are going, they went to Kroger to buy groceries and then they went to restaurants.
Yeah, we didn't have our main lettuce at the house for like 3 weeks.
Well, what is it, the lettuce that they recalled was E. coli, I think. But hepatitis A,
They did take their note back. I remember that.
Because I quit one of these, so I didn't get my shot.
you need to. Everybody needs to get their hepatitis A vaccine.
Yes, vaccinate your future kids, please. I beg of you. 'Cause your kids will not be the playground of my
That's a whole
kids.
nother discussion. But yes, there's hepatitis A. Now that is not sexually transmitted. That is transmitted from the oral. So if someone goes to the bathroom, they'll wash their hands as well. That's why you're getting infected when you go to the restaurant, because someone preparing your food is not scrubbing their hands when they come out.
That quick little rinse out.
No. You might not want to go out to eat
water.
But that's hepatitis A. Hepatitis B can be transmitted through blood, intercourse, things like that. Hepatitis C also can be transmitted, sexual intercourse, it can be transmitted from a mother to her baby, just like HIV can. Hepatitis B can as well. And the reason why it's so rampant here in Kentucky is because of the IV drug use. People are doing heroin, you all know about that? Heroin, opioid epidemic, that's why we're #1 right now, because of that. And so you may not be an IV drug user, but someone you interacted with may have interacted with someone who interacted with someone else who was. So that's why you have to protect yourself, because that could derail your dreams, right? Well, there's no vaccine for hepatitis C, unfortunately.
Oh, so if you get it, that's like it.
It's like HIV, but there is a treatment, but it's extremely expensive. And you have to fight with insurance to get it. It's extremely expensive. And some people don't respond to it. So
Do we just stay away from people?
you have to protect yourself.
Everybody's getting checked. Everybody.
Wait, what is that last
Check
one?
yourself.
The last one is the one that you can't prevent or whatever?
Hepatitis C.
Yeah.
That should be a group
Yeah,
activity.
there is no vaccine for it.
But if like, say like Victoria here knew somebody who had it and they got it and they got it and she got it, and then I was like, hey, so am I gonna get that?
No, not just by touching her skin, but it is,
If you kissed her, that might be a little.
that could be a little different just because hepatitis C is actually more contagious than HIV.
That's
Yes. So bodily fluids, going to the bathroom, not washing your hands or something, touching other stuff. If you have a lot of bodily fluids on you and she has a high viral count, a viral load, because they check viral loads. Some people produce a lot of virus and then you're highly contagious if you're producing a lot of virus in your body. So,
I'm gonna start carrying like little wipes with me. Just like,
Well, he just like hand sanitizer is coming. Just use it all the time.
what else? Okay, protecting yourself with barrier against infections, protecting yourself against pregnancy until you're good and ready. Because remember what I said, the hardest thing I ever did in life was be a parent. Not medical school, not residency, which is grueling. It was being a parent. That's harder than anything I've ever done in my life. So do that when you're ready, okay? The other thing would be just educate yourself about your body and find a doctor that you trust and you can have a conversation with, and not just sit there and let them tell you the things you need to do, and then you walk out and you're like, what'd they say again? I didn't really engage, I didn't ask the questions I wanted, I was nervous. Like, take control of that, have questions when you go in. If you have questions about your body, ask. No question is stupid, okay, when it comes to that, because guess what? It's just you and the doctor in the room. You're not in front of an audience. There's no one there watching you, taking notes. It's you and one other person. So, because this is the thing, I have always said, like, being an OBGYN, I get to hear some really interesting things. And I can't do that. I just be like, oh, okay, yes. Okay, yes, that's okay, So I hear some really wild things. And I have to have a poker face. I can't make faces. I can't make faces like things aren't supposed to shock me. you know, because I have heard a lot of interesting things.